Welcome back, everybody. Mark with Exotic Car Play Place today, coming back at you in front of one of the dealers here in Edmonton, and I just want to have a quick look at some of the electric cars. So here you've noticed behind me we've got some cars. We've got a couple of the i3s, which are pretty much straight electric with a range extender, and they have an i8 in the shop as well. And I want to talk about some of the details on both of those cars, but I also today want to share with you some of the issues that these cars have been having to date, generally speaking, talking to some owners, checking it out, checking the forums and talking to owners of some of these cars and some of the preliminary issues. Although these cars are new to the market relatively, since about 2013 or 2014, there are some issues that do pop up from time to time, and I want to share that with you guys. i3 and the i8 issues today. Let's go. Wow, what a beautiful thing. So there's the i8. And there's the i3s, of course. We've got two of them parked out here. And so some of the issues that we've seen, let's get started with what these actually are. So both of these cars, these basically are the i3, which happens to be pretty much the third best selling pure electric car on the market today. It's been created since about 2013 till present is when these basically have been coming into service, 2013 till now. And what these really are is more or less a pure electric car, and there's an optional range assist. So you can get a small engine basically from a scooter that they drop into these things that give you an additional range. But pure electric alone, pretty much these things are pushing about 170 horsepower and about 184 foot-pounds of torque. With the range extender, of course, you can get an additional 320 kilometers out of that, which is literally that. It's just an extender. It's not meant to be part of the normal function of the vehicle. And of course, as you can see, they have 4 doors and 4 seats typically in these cars. And the rear doors, if you look here, you've actually got the back doors, but these are suicide doors. So the back doors actually flip open reverse. So again, the hinges are at the back instead of at the front on the back doors. And of course, you get the back seats, capable for 4 commuting and comfort. Now this vehicle can do 0 to 60 in under 8 seconds. Now, I know that doesn't sound phenomenally fast by today's standards at 8 seconds up to 100 kilometers an hour, but it was just yesterday when I had a Mazda RX-7, well, a bunch of years ago, I had an RX-7, mine was a 1988, and I was excited because that car was so quick. To me, at the time, it did 0 to 60 around 8.5 seconds, and this car will do the same thing, and I always thought the RX-7 was quite sporty. So these here are not really hurting for performance. 8 seconds to 100 kilometers an hour, not a bad acceleration rate for sure by any means. And if you look around, of course, they have a lot of the nice features. We've got LED headlights there. Pretty attractive color schemes with a lot of these cars, of course. If you look, you have the cute little signals on the side, signal lights. Typical BMW handles. Of course, an attractive wheel package. However, that's a discussion here we'll get to in a moment. E-drive. A very overly attractive vehicle for what it is. Nice tucked away lighting. This is actually quite an interesting design theme. You've got this nice little overhang, almost like what you'd get on most of their SUVs. And a lot of very interesting styling elements. The interior is also one of the other great parts of this. I mean, you've got really nice seating in here. The dash layout's pretty attractive as well. Overall, with the sunroof on the top, the car actually has a lot of great elements to it, both design and functionality wise. Very, very attractive little cars here, for sure, no doubt. And of course the blue theme here, but that's just more color codes. They all have different options. There's lots of different color themes available for these cars. Now that brings us to the next discussion. So with these cars, do you know what kind of issues you're having? Number one, first, these doors, super lightweight. Everything's made to be lightweight. These doors are a combination of plastic and hemp fibers. So you can actually see it on the door panel there. That there is plastic and hemp fibers right there. that is intended to shed a ton of weight. So they're doing a lot of things here, not just for the drivetrain, which is pure electric with range extender, as I mentioned before, but they're shaving weight in a lot of places. But that is where one of the issues is. These wheels, very soft sidewalls, those things are really made more like an RV or a trailer tire. They're very flimsy, very lightweight, but all for the point of reducing rolling resistance and shedding weight. So BMW did a lot of things to shed weight, but the problem was those had created some problems along the way. Some of which were easy flats, and of course this has no run flats because those are just a really, really lightweight tire, and there's also no spare. So that was one complaint people were having. No spares, you get a flat tire and they were going flat very easily, and that was a big issue with a lot of people. I mean, look at the width of that tire. Pretty flimsy, I might say. And then another issue that people were complaining was the range. Now, this is meant to be a mass city vehicle. So the intent of these to be used for is city driving, commuting within city limits typically. But you know how it is in North America. You know, I'm in Canada, everything's spread out quite far, and people that wind up buying these often try to push their luck. And unfortunately, the concept is great, but if you're trying to take this out on the highway or the freeways, you often find yourself limited. And there's been cases where people, they're out there, they run off, the electric goes quickly, because if you're climbing some big hills, it eats the batteries very quickly, drops you down into the assist mode, trying to get you going. But as soon as you do that and you lose your battery power, often these things will drop down to about 40 miles per hour and you can't even keep up with freeway traffic. That in itself was creating hazards, something that BMW is still working out in the wash, but it has been a bit of an issue for these cars. So if you don't mind just knowing that these are more or less to be utilized as a city vehicle, that's fine. But don't try to make it a once and done vehicle that you're going to take this across the highway and travel long distances across the country with it. It's not really the vehicle for that. This is a shorter term commuter vehicle. And so that brings us to the other vehicle, the i8, which is different. It's not strictly electrical. This is actually a plug-in hybrid vehicle. It has a different way of managing its power output. And so these were created from about 2014 and on, and this has a combination of both a 228 horsepower 3-cylinder turbo engine, and it's combined with a 120 horsepower hybrid synchronous motor as well, coupled to that. So this thing is rated on pretty much just the gas only, so assuming your batteries are toast, will get you 29 miles per gallon with the turbo 3-cylinder, or a combined electric gas combination fuel economy equivalent to about 91 miles per gallon E. And did you know this will also do 120 kilometers an hour on electric only, or it will actually do a limited 250 kilometers an hour when you're doing a combined electric gas operation. Now, unfortunately, there have been a few issues with these in terms of, customer satisfaction. Things like coolant leaks, overheating issues or coolant related problems, window regulators. There's also been issues on the regen system or in some of the wiring associated with some of the regeneration power. But generally, as a rule, aside from some of the basic electrical issues, window regulators, and some of the coolant problems, most customers seem to be quite happy with the overall performance. And the nice thing is this car generally answers a lot of questions for a lot of people. You've got fuel economy, but you've got your performance, you've got some interesting doors, wonderful interior, exotic stance, and it's just a magnificent, beautiful car overall. So it does really answer needs for a lot of different owners. So overall, it's been very, very reliable, and I would expect good things from the i8. So far, so good, as well as the i3. So generally, I would say, so far, so good. BMW is almost leading the way in terms of technology with this. They're not the first on the block, but they're selling a lot of the i3s as a pure electric, possibly with the range extender as an option. A lot of people are liking those vehicles. They're providing a lot of reliable transportation, other than a few of the little things that I spoke of. And the i8 answers all the questions for that exotic appeal. It gives you that exclusiveness that most other BMWs don't match. I mean, it puts it out there even above and beyond the M5s and that. It just has that look and that exotic feel to it. In and itself has been quite reliable. Like I said, some coolant issues, window regulators, little one-off issues, some owners complaining about accelerated tire wear. I would say a lot of that has to do with because the tires are generally skinnier than you're going to find on a lot of vehicles. And of course, if you're driving the car hard, it's going to eat those tires pretty quickly. So that's about the only other thing that was really noted. And talking to people, there's not a lot of bad problems with these cars. So these electric or hybrid vehicles by BMW have been actually very, very reliable. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. You make sure you give me a thumbs up, like, and of course share with your friends. I'd like you guys to pass this on. Overall, I think the i3 and the i8 are spectacular cars. They're great. They answer a lot of the solutions for fuel economy, and that's BMW's look into the future, what the future holds for the automotive industry. After all, with fossil fuels and the challenges associated with building pipelines and the increased need for alternative fuels, this is a great option, and BMW is on board with it, and they're trying a lot of things, i3, i8, and so far the reliability of these vehicles looks to be very, very good. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you guys on the next one. See you soon. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.